and I want to give you a short introduction to today's topic. So today we talk about biology, bioengineering, very smart topics and very interesting ones. And we have guest speakers from like 2 for sure universities. I will be introducing them in a moment separately. Before that, I want to mention about the organizer of this session. This is my German university, Germany's largest study program database. Whatever you want to study in Germany, you can find this program on our study finder. You can filter the search according to all the different criteria. For example, you already have your IELTS TOEFL score and you are searching specifically for the programs that are accepting it. You want to filter according to tuition fee or location or all the different things. I will also show you it in the slides, a bit more later on, but most frequently used thing is about language. So you can always control language of instruction, and it's like you can even control the programs that have the program is fully English, but it has German language course, just as an example. So we try to make it very user-friendly and so that the program is really found and you are happy with the results. You can also check out our articles that can be very broad and also very concrete, for example, about visa waiting times or scholarship for a specific country. And of course, the webinars. We have general subject webinars. Today you're attending subject webinar where luckily we have guest speakers, but we also have general webinars when usually I or my colleague Oliva present broader topics like uni-assist, studying in Germany, scholarship, visa, and so on. This is our team. We are based in Hamburg, Germany. We are counseling in different languages and always happy to share our experience of how it feels studying and living in Germany with you. Another important information is that we do not do one-to-one counseling. We try to connect you with a study program, and it's always better that you do the application yourself because this is a program where you will be spending time and you should be definitely motivated and interested to apply yourself there. All right, as I told you, our study finder is really user-friendly and you can always narrow down different programs. If you search for biology, bioengineering, you can select 2 subjects here, and then you see 419 English-only programs. Of course, you are not going by one through all unless you have a lot of plenty time. That's why first narrow down will be into Bachelor and Master. Then maybe you want to select English only or English only with German language course, English German, and so on. You can narrow down here. You can apply different filters. The ones that you see here are kind of frequently used ones. However, you have much more. If you click on See All Filters, you can then control all the different things about, I don't know, even application deadlines and university type and so on. Therefore, when you have your narrowed down list of, let's say, 10 programs, you can always favor them so that you don't miss out important information, application deadlines, and list of documents required to apply. And of course, the mode, how you need to apply directly, maybe using uni-assist, Studienkolleg Konstanz, or whatever the process is. Then, if you're just wondering, is it really worth studying these subjects in Germany? One of the ways is to attend a webinar, but another way is to have a look on our subject pages, where we provide broader information about the subject, some approximate requirements in terms of admission, application, tuition fees, and you can read really interesting information there about the landscape of this subject in Germany. We believe this could be also interesting. We always advise you to check each study program, curriculum, and content really carefully because this is what matters. That's how you should base your decision and not be guided only by, I don't know, city names or something. There could be a city that you are not that aware of, but the program is really wonderful and you will enjoy studying it. And therefore, it's really, really important to understand what the program is about so that there is a mutual match between your previous qualification, your interest, and also what the program offers. Really briefly about the university landscape in Germany. In Germany, there are universities and universities of applied sciences. We have a whole article about it if you want to know why there are differences, why there are types of universities. But today I just want to mention that usually programs that are offered by universities are research and theory oriented. Universities of applied sciences usually have more application programs. But again, as I mentioned, all programs are different. Content is really important, the same way as structure. So there could be exceptions on both sides. I don't give you like upfront 100% guarantees that all programs by universities are only research oriented or vice versa. So again, the content and structure really matters. Another suggestion would be to, if you are new and you know that you want to study biology or bioengineering, but you don't know like which program exactly, please start the search by subject, apply different filters, and do not search by program name, because you could be missing programs that have longer names, but are like in the field or in the subject. All right, now the most interesting part will start, because the first speaker, Dr. Niklas Kästner, will be talking about Master Biology from Molecules to Organisms program from Osnabrück University. Some quick facts on the slide, and of course.
Hello everybody. I'm very happy to have the chance to talk to you about our master's program, Biology from Molecules to Organism. And just to give you a bit of background information, my name is Niklas Kästner. I'm a biologist myself, but currently I'm not doing research anymore. Instead, I'm responsible for science communication and outreach work at our biology department. Okay, now let's jump straight into the topic. That is our master's program. And first, I want to tell you what it has to offer you as students. The first thing you can already guess by the name of the program. It's from molecules to organism. And research at our biology department is covers a wide range of biological disciplines. So there are people that work on the structure of specific molecules. There are people working on the development of tissues. There are people working on behavior of animals or interaction between organisms. And this diversity is also reflected in the courses that are offered. However, as a master's student, you will get to choose a track. So there are 3 tracks that you can choose. You can say, oh, I want to learn all the disciplines of biology. I don't want to specialize. Then you're good off to pick general biology. But you can also say, I want to specialize on evolution, behavior, and ecology, or on cell and molecular biology. But the great thing is that within this track, you can still choose from a range of different courses depending on your specific interests and, of course, on the track. But please keep in mind that it will not be possible, for example, to do a master's where you only take courses in microbiology or only courses in evolutionary genetics of plants or something. You will always have to pick from a certain range of disciplines. Another important fact about the study program is that it is very research oriented, and you will get to do a lot of practical work. This is something that I will talk about a bit more soon when we talk about the structure of the program. But related to that, another aspect is that students get to profit from the cutting-edge laboratory infrastructure and equipment that we have at the biology department. So, for example, the building that you can see here, this is the Center for Cellular Nanoanalytics. It's an interdisciplinary research building that was created with education in mind, and you find a lot of different imaging techniques there, high-end microscopes, mass spectrometry equipment that you as students during your master's there also get to use. And for me, also very exciting thing is that the people there not only apply these methods or work with the equipment, they also develop new imaging techniques. And I think that's a very inspiring environment for students to be around. So now let's get to the structure of the program. So as it is usual, it comprises certain building blocks or so-called modules that you have to complete to collect credit points. And the first building block is the introductory module. There, among other things, you get an overview about the research that is done at the biology department at Osnabrück University. So you will see all the different divisions and get an overview about what people are working on there. The next building block is a lot bigger. So it comprises the so-called master modules. During your master studies, you will have to complete at least 4 of these modules that you can choose from a wide range of topics, depending again on your track that you've chosen. And each of these modules focuses on a specific topic, and it consists of 3 parts. So there's always a lecture, a seminar, and practical exercises. So that means that already from the beginning of your studies, practical work is a big part of what you're doing. And the master modules are complemented by 2 other building blocks. One is the excursion or internship module that is similar to a master module, but instead of practical exercises, you do a field trip or an internship. And then there's the in-depth lecture, which is basically just the lecture of another master module that you attend. And if you look at these building blocks and add up the credit points, you will see that they make up already a big part of the study program. The assistance module, on the other hand, is considerably smaller part of the program, but it is nevertheless important because there you get the chance to gain a bit of experience in teaching. So what you will do there is you will act as a tutor in a course and supervise students. But you don't have to worry, you're not alone there. So there will be experienced people guiding you, introducing you to the topic and so on. Okay, so this is basically, I would say, the first half or one half of the study program. And the second half basically consists of you doing research on your own. But of course, again, with all the support and supervision by experienced researchers. There are 2 project courses that you will complete in different divisions of our department. And then you will work on a small research project for a few weeks, and then you will write a report about it. And then there's the literature module, where you will dig into the scientific literature and summarize the state of the research regarding a specific research question. And usually that is also related to the topic that you will focus on during your master's thesis, which is the last building block of the program. And during the master's thesis, you really have the chance to work extensively on a research project, on an exciting and current research question. And this is usually also part of the research that is actually done at our department. So it's not just a task that you get, but it's really a hot topic in science, so to say. And during this time where you will do the empirical work and then write the thesis, you will be a part of a research group. And of course, there you will also get all the support and guidance that you need. And then when you have completed the last building block, the master's thesis and everything else, then you will get your master's degree. But I know until then it's a long way to go. So 2 years of studying. And the first step, of course, is the application and the admission process. So let's have a quick look at the main requirements for admission. And the first one is that you have completed bachelor's degree in biology, or you have a comparable qualification. The second main requirement is that you have a certain English proficiency. This is important because the teaching language is English, and of course it doesn't make sense if you don't speak the language to attend the courses. So this goes without saying. And then there is another thing I have to mention. So admission to the program is restricted. Based on the past experiences, there will be more applicants than places that we can offer. So there will be a so-called numerous clauses. That means that also the grade of the students that apply play a role. Okay, so now I've talked a lot about the study program, and I'm sure that's the most important part for you to make up your mind about where to go for your master's. But I can imagine, especially as most of you probably are planning to move abroad, you also want to know what the city is like, where the university is located. So let me tell you a bit about Osnabrück. Probably not all of you are familiar with this beautiful city, but it's easy to spot on a map when you know a few other cities in Germany and the Netherlands. So if you draw a line from Berlin to Amsterdam, and then you draw another line from Hamburg to Cologne, then pretty much where these lines intersect is Osnabrück. And the city has approximately 170,000 inhabitants and 30,000 students. So you can see that the students make up a huge part of the city community, and you can imagine that they influence the city life a lot, and that's really great. And Osnabrück as a place to live offers various things. Let me just name a few. Of course, there's a vibrant and welcoming university that is strong in research, and that, of course, is an important aspect when choosing where to go for your master's studies. But beyond that, Osnabrück is also a great place to live. It has the perfect mix of amenities of a big city. That means you can go to the cinema, you can go to concerts, you can go to the theater, you can go shopping, do various things. But it still has this small town flair because you can reach everything by bike or bus in a short amount of time. You have the chance to run into people you've met on several occasions again, which I think is great, especially if you move to a new place and you're trying to feel home there. And so I think that, that's a great thing about Osnabrück as a place to study. And lastly, there are a lot of things that you can do in the city, but also in the surroundings of the city. It's a very idyllic landscape. And if you should get bored, which will probably take some time, especially because you're coming here to study, you can go to other places in Germany very easily by train in a couple of hours. It's a great starting point due to its central location to visit other cities and see more of the country. Okay, so overall, I can say that, and I'm happy to say that we can not only offer you an excellent study program, but also really an amazing city to live in. And I really mean that. Okay, so with these words, I'm already at the end of my presentation. I've listed you here some key contacts that will be happy to take all your questions, because I'm afraid probably if there are detailed questions on the application process or the admission regulations that I can't help you, but there are a lot of other questions probably I can answer. So today, of course, I'm here and you can ask me everything you want to know. Thanks a lot.
Because we are moving to Kiel University. And we have Professor Dr. Tal Dagan, who will be presenting molecular biology evolution program, master's level. And yeah, once again, quick facts on the slide. And Professor Dagan has...
I'm very happy to present MAMBE today, the Master of Molecular Biology and Evolution at Kiel University. So we are back to the map of Germany. Kiel is here up in the north on this nice neck of Germany going towards Scandinavia. And the program is a collaborative program together with the Max Planck Institute for Evolutionary Biology that is located in Plön. So you can see we are in the coastal area. This is Kiel and the Bay of Kiel. The university is around in here. And the Max Planck Institute is in the lake area in the northern of Germany, in Schleswig-Holstein. You can see the institute is located here in between the lakes of Plön. The program combines diverse research areas in molecular and evolutionary biology, and it is centered around practical research experience that is gained through multiple research internships, and at the end, also a master thesis. The topics for the master research thesis are offered in the biology department at Kiel University and the Max Planck Institute for Evolutionary Biology at Plön. This master degree is an excellent stepping stone for you for further career development, either in the private or the public sector, or in the academia going towards additional studies. This is the general overview of the study plan. So the program is overall 2 years or 4 semesters, and it is divided into 2 phases, the preparation phase, semester 1 and 2, and the master thesis phase, semester 3 and 4. We have in the preparation phase several obligatory modules, including some closing gaps among the student cohorts in molecular evolution as well as evolutionary biology, and additional courses in data science and data analysis. The remaining modules are elective modules that can be elected depending on the student interest on specific topics that they would like to develop further in their master thesis. In the second year, we dedicate most of the time for practical work, either within research modules or the development of the scientific project. This is the master thesis and the master thesis itself. So that most of that year is actually spent on working in the lab or on the computer within the research groups, either at Kiel University or the Max Planck Institute at Plön. The master thesis is an independently performed research project that is supervised by an expert in the relevant field. This can be molecular biology, microbiology, zoology, botany. We have a very wide selection of topics in the molecular biology and evolutionary biology in the institutes within the biology department at Kiel University, which are microbiology, zoology, and botany, as well as the Max Planck Institute for Evolutionary Biology. The full list of groups and the specific suggestions for master topics are all listed in the MAMBE webpage. You can scan this QR code in here and see all of the details about this program. I show here some examples just to show the diversity of topics. These are examples of master thesis performed in the past. We have a topic on, for example, a thesis performed on the microbiota of 𝘱𝘢𝘕𝘪𝘐 elegans. Another master thesis, here we are talking about morphology in zoology, so the morphology of mandible shape in stag beetles. This is a group in the microbiology, and the master thesis was performed on a microprotein in methanosarcinamase, or a work in the Botany Institute on population genomics of wild grass pathogen Sarcosaptoria. And lastly, another master thesis in the Botany Institute on alkaloid biosynthesis. So you can see that there's a wide diversity of topics that can be chosen and performed as the master thesis. So the registration procedure is either via application at the MAMBE website for students that perform their bachelor in Germany, or for via the UniAssist for all other applicants that have a foreign bachelor, or at least not from Germany. The timeline is, as shown in here, the application deadline is the 15th of June this year. And if you didn't graduate your bachelor, you can still supply the proof of your bachelor degree by the end of September. And the admission announcements after we have all of the applications is at the end of June or mid-July. Once you are accepted, you have to register to the study program by the end of September and be on campus for the beginning of the winter semester in October. Why study in Kiel? If you find MAMBE interesting and you would like to go forward with education in molecular biology and evolutionary biology, this is one excellent reason. Otherwise, you could also think about the location. Kiel can offer a very nice coastal lifestyle. You are studying by the sea. At least in the summer, you can sail and engage in water sports. The university has a sports center where you can actually take courses in sailing and surfing and diving. Kiel is still provide affordable living. The costs of renting and daily life are still affordable. compared to the larger cities. It's one of the top universities in Germany, among the top 40 universities. You can reach easily from Kiel to Hamburg or Berlin by train, or to Scandinavia, Gothenburg or Oslo by ferry. It is quite green and modern, clean and very safe city. We usually cycle our way between the university and other places. And thanks to the wind from the sea, we have very fresh air. Right, so to summarize, 𝘗𝘵 program combines diverse research areas in molecular and evolutionary biology, which is centered on a practical research experience and a significant master thesis. Very often our students perform real scientific projects or very current scientific projects in the hosting groups and become co-authors on scientific publications, which will be extremely valuable for developing your further career. Additional information about 𝘗𝘵 is in our webpage. You have the QR code in here. And everything else you want to know about Kiel and how to move to Kiel is listed here in the webpage of the International Center of the university. Thank you for your attention, and I'm looking forward to read your questions in the chat.
My screen. And let's go to the University of Bayreuth, where we have Professor Dr. Frank 𝘱𝘢 joining us to present Master in Food System Sciences. As always, location facts on slide. More details.
Welcome also from my side. Thanks for the introduction of the other two programs. So I will close the circle here with a program we offer in Bayreuth. I would start with a couple of information about the University of Bayreuth. So here you can see a couple of numbers. So basically we're a classical campus university. I will say a couple of words about the campus we run in Kulmbach. So that's the only campus which is outside of Bayreuth. But first of all, the university was founded in 1975, about 300 professors, 12,000 students. So it's a middle-large university, so definitely smaller than Osnabrück or Kiel. In comparison, we have a relatively high proportion of international students. You can see the number of doctoral students and also the number of staff, always also in relation to the international numbers. A couple of rankings, they always play a role. I'm not giving too much on rankings, but I was asked to show the numbers here. I do not want to go into too much detail, but you can see the numbers as given here. For example, the university is ranked in 2025 in the 𝘱𝘢 World University ranking between place 301 and 350. It's 31 in Germany, in the top 11%, whatever it means, of the 2,100 universities ranked worldwide. It's place number 38 amongst the universities younger than 50 years. And regarding the Humboldt ranking, which is relatively important in Germany, it's the number where it's from the 2023. It's number 21 weighted of all German universities and number 1 weighted in life sciences. Here are a couple of other rankings, study check and digital campus index. I think we can just briefly go over it, not too interesting maybe. Now, how's the main campus in Bayreuth organized? So as I said before, we have a classical big campus university. So the buildings are located at one campus. So they are not too much distributed amongst the city. We have 7 faculties in total. Faculty 1, mathematics, physics, and computer science. Faculty 2, biology, chemistry, and geosciences. Faculty 3 is law and economic sciences. Faculty 4, language and literature sciences. Cultural sciences is faculty 5. Engineering sciences representing faculty 6. And the program we run is based in fact at faculty number 7, so life sciences, food, nutrition, and health. And we're not basically located in Bayreuth, but in a smaller city, 20 kilometers to the north of Bayreuth in Krumbach, but I will come back to this in a couple of minutes. Now, the University of Bayreuth basically is divided in 3 big parts in terms of research activities. The first one would be natural and engineering sciences, given in red. So a couple of different and relevant terms here you can see. Then we have humanities and social sciences represented by the yellow part, lower right. And then we also have the life sciences part, which is mainly covered by food and health sciences, given in blue here, with interactions, of course, in the natural and engineering sciences, for example, in the molecular biosciences, ecology and environment research, or polymer and colloid research. So this is basically where our program is located, and most of the chairs involved in the education within the program I'm representing today. So this is our study portal, or the portal of the University of Bayreuth. So here you can basically find all different study programs in case you might be interested in the university or the programs the University of Bayreuth offers in general. Feel free to have a look and also look for additional programs the university offers in addition to the program I'm presenting today. Here are a couple of links. Of course, you can also follow the university at social media. Feel free to register and to follow. It's called Food System Sciences, Master of Science program, located at the Faculty of Life Sciences, Food, Nutrition and Health. I'm responsible for this program together with a colleague, 𝘗𝘀𝘪𝘥𝘪𝘆. And it's a relatively new program, so it started this winter term. So winter 24-25, so the first cohort is actually enrolled in the program. So it's relatively new, which is quite exciting for us. Now, what is the program about? So we offer at the end 4 different specializations. You can choose finally, and the respective specialization you choose is also written down on your certificate or on your diploma in the end. I will explain in a couple of minutes how this specifically works in terms of specialization. But the first specialization is called Analytics and Life Sciences, from molecules to cells. And here is to the sustainable development goals of the United Nations number 2 and number 3, if you are interested in these SDGs. The second specialization we offer is called Nutritional Physiology, from cells to organisms, and it adheres to the SDGs 3, good health and well-being, and also number 12, responsible consumption and production. The third specialization is called Food Law, from national to international perspectives, linked to SDG number 12 and number 13. And then finally, our fourth specialization we offer is called Bioeconomy, Sustainable Production, Business and Society. And here you can see the SDGs linked to this specialization, number 9, 12, 13, and also number 15. Now, what is basically the main goal of the different specializations? So the specialization Analytics and Life Sciences, from molecules to cells, teaches students and educates students to become experts in classical analytic sciences with a focus on life sciences and nutritional sciences. So our teaching or educational laboratories have a high degree of sophisticated MS HPLC systems, where the students are practically educated in order to become an expert in classical analytical sciences. The nutrition physiology, from cells to organism part, where specialization really focuses in depth on molecular physiology and processes related to nutrition, but also apart from that, so combining basic physiology disciplines with nutritional aspects. So here you can see it's just a small schematic representation on the organ systems. We basically focus on another important tissue or organ system is skeletal muscle tissue, which is basically the largest metabolically active tissue we have. Then here in this specialization, food law from national to international perspectives, the students become educated in order to get some or specialized understanding on how food laws are created and how food laws are executed through different organizations, but also through different countries and governments, not only in Germany, but also with respect to the entire EU system. And apart from that, also North America and also, for example, different states in Asia. And then we have the bioeconomy, an upcoming and very important specialization or field. Circular economy might be the most important keyword. So everything related to sustainable production, sustainable business, and also societal impacts. Now, how is the entire program designed? Basically, the program is open for students or interested students from different disciplines. So it's not restricted to students with a degree in, for example, natural sciences or whatever, but it's also open, of course, for students with a degree in economics, for example, or social sciences. So we try to combine different disciplines in our program. And in our first semester, so this is how the first semester looks like, every student, independent of the background, but also independent of the specialization that might be followed afterwards, will have to complete each of these four different introductory modules. So the first one is analytics in life sciences. The second one is nutrition physiology. Third one is food law. And then we also offer one in bioeconomy. And these modules are expected to, first of all, give an overview about the specializations that are linked to these different modules from semester 2 to semester 4 onwards. And secondly, of course, also to provide novel content for students, for example, in natural sciences background in terms of analytics, but also in terms of physiology. And the same is true, for example, for students with an economy background here in this module, or people who have already some knowledge collected in law-related sciences. As you can see here, every module accounts for 6 ECTS. So these are 24 ECTS in total, but each semester basically covers 30 ECTS. So we have 2 additional modules with, I think, 3 ECTS each. So the first one is science communication, and the second one is study skills. So this would make up the content of the first semester. In the second semester, it looks really relatively complicated, but I will try to guide you through as good as I can. We offer 15 electives, and basically here you have the chance already to specialize in the most important track you would like to follow from this second semester onwards. So let's assume you might be interested in analytic. So this would be the blue track here. Then you would have to choose between, or at least 15 ECTS points out of 30 in total covered by the blue color. For example, you choose the module called Advanced Analytics and Food Quality. A second one would be Advanced Nutritional Biochemistry and Physiology. And then, for example, you have Advanced Genetics and Epigenetics. With this, you would have covered the 15 ECTS. You would need to follow the blue colored track or specialization in analytics. And then you would have 15 ECTS, additional ECTS for free choice. So for example, you could have a look into law-related modules, and this can be very interesting because food companies these days are looking for specialized or experts who are educated in the analytics field, but who are also educated in questions of food law, for example. So this could be a highly interesting combination to get in-depth knowledge and education in the analytic field, but also to gain knowledge in the field of food law, for example. So in the second semester, you're relatively free to choose amongst all these different modules. This is definitely a very interesting semester. That's at least what we collect on feedback from the last 2 weeks of the first year we run now, and people are very much very much the high flexibility of the second semester, in which they really can look for their main choices and try to combine disciplines which are usually not so easy to combine in other programs. So there are not too many programs out there to combine classical analytic sciences with, for example, food law input. So that's the second semester. As I mentioned, 30 ECTS in total are required, and 15 ECTS are required for a specific specialization. In the third semester, we go into more depth of your final specialization. So here there's no choice anymore. We will keep the track of the analytic path, so given here in blue again. So we offer 3 different modules within this specialization. The same is true for the nutrition physiology specialization, the food law, and also the bioeconomy. So this means that students who would like to become an expert in analytics would have to follow these 3 modules, so collecting 15 ECTS in total. In addition, in addition to these modules you have to cover, you would have to perform an internship in the area of your final specialization. So here it would be analytics. It could be with a company, it could be at a research chair at the University of Bayreuth, but it can also be another research institution in Germany or also abroad. So here this is relatively flexibly organized. In addition, we have a research seminar you have to attend, but this can also be done online. For example, in case you would do your internship outside of Bayreuth, for example. So here, important in-depth knowledge in order to create your final specialization. And then we have in the 4th semester is a master thesis, also covering 30 ECTS. And this is, of course, done in your specialization field. Again, you would, if we just keep with the example we started with, you just would do your master thesis in the field of classical analytics, usually linked to food analysis. So this is the entire program we offer. So we try to funnel the knowledge from the relatively broad in the 1st semester and try to develop experts in the 4 different tracks we offer. Again, analytics and life sciences, nutrition, physiology, food law, and bioeconomy. The culmination point in your studies would then, of course, be, as usually in every program, the master thesis at the end. Now, I mentioned that we're based in 𝘗𝘢𝘪𝘏, so it's a small city, about 25,000 inhabitants, 20 kilometers north of Bayreuth. So here you can see, this is the research building. Here we have the laboratories and also the educational laboratories here in this building. So relatively a lot of or much space here, which is offered. And here in this picture, you can see the old teaching hall. So in these 2 floors, we have our lecture rooms and everything we need in terms of theoretical education. Here we have a small picture of my colleague 𝘗𝘢𝘪𝘥 𝘓𝘍𝑜𝑡𝑡, who is not attending today. She's a crop geneticist, and they work with different plants in order to study genetic adaptations. 𝘗𝘢𝘪𝑚 is, as I said, a very lovely, relatively small city, so people are running into each other. There is the Plassenburg, the classical or most important sightseeing site of Bayreuth. Here you can have a short look into the brand new educational laboratories we use. So we do chemical analysis here. We do also biology-related, physiology-related education. Here's another angle with a look into the laboratory. So we have 3 of these big laboratories in which we educate the students, as I said, also in different techniques and approaches, including cell cultures. We have a relatively large room just for HPLCs, GCMS, LCMS devices in order to educate students to become an expert, for example, also in this specialized area. Yeah, all right. So the students of our faculty is relatively international, as you can see here on this map. So we have students from almost all over the world. I don't know whether someone is attending from Australia or New Zealand. We would be happy to have a pinpoint also here on this area, but the rest is almost covered, as you can see. So if you would like to meet international people, our faculty definitely would be a good choice in combination with high profile education. If you were interested in the program, this is how to apply. So the application period is open. It started on 1st of March and will close on the 15th of June. And you have to apply via the application portal. It's called Campus Online. And I think you will find additional information here, for example, under this link. It's important, and it was mentioned before, that international applicants from outside the EU, they first must apply via UniAssist. So they do a formal document check, and usually it takes about 6 to 8 weeks. I think this is, the usual number we get, but it can be a little bit faster. It can be a little bit slower, of course, depending on the numbers they receive. So this is, I think, just on average. Admission requirements: a bachelor degree with a final grade of 2.5, which is referring to the German system. So if you haven't received your degree in Germany, UniAssist would translate your number or your grade into the German system, and then you can apply or you cannot apply. The successful completion of an aptitude test, so we will do an interview usually with a large cohort of the student or of the applicants. Then you would need a language certificate, English level B2. And during the first year, in case you would be enrolled to the program, you would also have to cover a German level A1 certificate. This is common in Bavaria. So here in all Bavarian located programs, you would have to gain a level A1 during the first year of your program. So you have 2 semesters to cover this. Our study service, so we have 3 supporting ladies in our study program: Pia Kaul, Alina Meyerhofer, and Helke Biel. They can be reached here via this email address in case you might have any questions related to the program. So usually the questions are referred first to them and they try to help as good as they can. If not, they will refer the questions to either my colleague Corinna Flott-Schuster or to myself, and then we will try to solve your problems. But I think basically you will find a lot of information also on the website of the program, specifically when it comes to the application process. Here are a couple of QR codes in case you might be interested in our faculty or the master's program. We also offer a couple of mini lectures, also obviously an Instagram account. Whatever you would like to follow, please feel free to do so. And in case you might have questions after this presentation, you might drop us an email to food-system-master@uni-bayreuth.de, and then you end up with the study service. As I mentioned before, the 3 of them really try to help you out in order to solve your questions. And with this, thank you very much. And I'm also here for remaining questions if there might be any of those. Thank you.
Start with a general one, which came the very first minutes when we started the webinar, is about the English test. This is a common question. I know all of you mentioned the English levels. The last one was B2, if I recall it correctly. But do you also accept the mean of instruction certificate? So if the previous studies were fully in English, the person does not come from English-speaking country, can he or she, Fabrizio, I guess, apply with this certificate? Let's start with Dr. Kasna.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure about that, but I'm pretty sure that it's possible that if you completed your undergraduate study program in English, that you don't have to take a test. But I assume you probably need some kind of proof of that. But to be 100% sure, please just send an email to me or to one of the contacts that I listed, and then you will get a certain answer.
Just before we go to Professor Dagan, I just want to say that it was absolutely fully mentioned because the program does accept it if it was full English, so you don't have to follow up the applicant.
Okay.
It's a yes. All right. Yeah, Professor Dagan?
Yes, thank you. I also pasted the conditions for MAMBE in the Q&A. If your studies were done before the Bachelor in English, then this can be taken, for example, as an alternative to the English proficiency test, and just check the MAMBE webpage for the other options. We are quite flexible about it.
Thank you. Zazo?
I'm also not 100% sure, so I think there might be additional information in the FAQs maybe. On the website, but I assume that basically if you did your undergraduate degree in an English-speaking country, then it will definitely be accepted. But just to be sure, please drop an email to the email address I mentioned, and then we can clarify this. I'm also very optimistic, but not 100% sure.
I can be a positive person here, proving this one as well.
Great.
Yeah, so the proof can be provided if you did an official certificate starting like high school or university in English.
Yeah.
You just need to have a certificate from a university or like university because you're applying for a master's program. Yes, and then you can apply. So for all programs, it was a yes, that's great. And yeah, you now have already avoided one additional test. This is great. Another question for Dr. Kastner. Does a program allow me to switch between specializations if I discover a new interest after starting?
Yeah, actually, I think I know not of a case where this has happened before, so I'm not sure if this is possible, but I would say if you're not sure about which track you want to take, then the safest bet would be to go for general biology, because then you still have all the possibilities. And of course, you can then also choose master modules, for example, that are from a certain area, and then you can focus during your master's thesis on this topic. So you can also specialize, of course, if you take the general biology track.
Thank you so much. There is a general question for all about the master thesis. All of you have mentioned master thesis, a seminar, and so on. Let's maybe start with Professor Dagan in this case, and we go like in a round. Are master theses conducted independently or as part of a larger research group? And can I propose my own topic?
The master thesis research is performed independently within a host group. So that means that you will be working with the experts in the group. You can propose your own research topic once you are admitted into one of the host groups, of course. But first you need to find the host group and then hear what they might want to suggest. And the discussion is usually quite open with most of the hosts.
Professor Zwa?
Yeah, same here. So you're also then part of the hosting laboratory, and depending on the research performed in the respective laboratory, you're free to offer or to suggest a research topic you would like to work on. And then, of course, the final decision lies with the supervisor to accept the topic or not. But at least you're free to offer an interesting topic. I think most of the supervisors, of course, are happy to accept interesting research topics from the study or cohorts or the students. Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, I basically
and
have
Dr.
nothing to add to what Professor 𝘱𝘢 said. I think it works similarly at our university.
Mhm. Thank you. Then there is an easy question. Are there any age limitations? Which usually answer is no, but just to be sure, are there any limitations with your programs? No. All right, great. Usually the limitation is about the study gap, but not for the programs, but for the scholarships. If you have more than 5 years of study gap, it could be not always possible to apply for certain scholarships, for example, DAD. But everybody is very welcome to start the studies anytime he or she feels comfortable. I've heard also discussion that if you have like huge gaps before your previous studies, then some programs have interviews like, do you really feel comfortable getting back to academia? But I don't think it's true for all. Another question for Professor 𝘱𝘢. Does the University of Bayreuth partner with food companies, NGOs, or startups for internships or thesis collaborations?
Yeah, that's a good question. So in 𝘗𝘀𝘪𝘥, we have internationally operating food companies, relatively big companies, up to 3,000 or 4,000 employees. The university, of course, is independent of these companies. However, there are cross-links to these companies. We also have already organized internships at the companies, and I know from at least 2 students who have already or have been employed after finishing their degree at our faculty or at one of our programs, which is usually not the case or not the actual way how it is organized. So the internships or the students are basically responsible for finding an internship spot, but the university, of course, is supporting, especially in collaboration with the companies we have located in 𝘗𝘀𝘪𝘥.
Thank you so much. General question, how can I know about job opportunities about a particular biology field course? If I choose ecology, which opportunities can I explore? Yeah, as an international student, you can do a part-time job or like also an internship, which sometimes is part of a course. And for some universities, there are internal systems, university platforms where job postings are listed. Do you have those, dear guests, or maybe you have other suggestions about like where people can find internships? Dr. Kasper.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the person meant with the question. I think I understood it differently from you.
Okay.
Or what I thought is that it's aimed at the career perspectives that you have when you focus on a
maybe.
certain topic. So I'm not sure about that. But for example, at our department, during your master studies, you can attend certain career events where people are invited and talk about people, for example, that have studied biology and now work in a certain field. And now with ecology, I mean, there's always a lot that you can do. So it would be, I think, too exhaustive to go into detail here. But there is a chance, of course, to find out about that online. By doing a bit of research if you want to know it beforehand, or to approach some of us guys, and we can tell you a bit more about that. And then during your studies, you will have the chance to find out more about the career perspectives.
Professor Daga?
Yeah, thank you. It's also at Kiel University, we have job fairs in order to inform the students about their next steps and advice on career development, and you have also courses like project management within your master study program. With expertise in molecular biology, the road is open for you to work in biotech companies, for example, and expertise in evolutionary biology will further help you to develop your career, for example, in large-scale organizations that are dealing, for example, with nature conservation or restriction of antibiotic resistance via mechanisms of resistance in human pathogens. This is actually a very big topic at Kiel University, translational evolutionary biology research, how to include and consider evolutionary biology almost in all fields of life. And we hope that our students will help us to push this revolution further.
Thank you. Professor 𝘱?
Yeah, I can only link to what Professor Dagan just mentioned. So University of Bayreuth also offers a variety of different job fairs. We also offer one elective in entrepreneurship, so trying to translate the theoretical knowledge you have gained in the program to the field of entrepreneurship. Yeah, I think that's basically what we offer in terms of other and additional courses. Yeah.
Thank you. Great. Then we can call it a day. As I